This is Toby from Heavyweight MMA, here with the pride of the Central Coast, New South Wales, Mr. Jamie the Hooligan Mullarkey. Great to see you, mate. Great to have you on the show. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having us, mate.
Yeah, so we're both from the coast, mate. I was very happy to see someone from the Central Coast up on the big screen when we were watching the fights, and also even better to see you take out your last opponent in the UFC, because it made it very sweet, because I was sitting with one of my American wrestler mates, and it was really nice to see you take him out within the first part of that first round. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So, man, basically back on the coast, I was fighting back when you were just a glimmer in your father's eye back on the coast, and there wasn't even a hint of MMA around the area. There was a bit of boxing and kickboxing. I mean, if you went out and you got in a blue, you don't have to worry about maybe run into a boxer or a kickboxer or something. Now you have to worry about guys like yourself and some of your mates that are professional MMA fighters. Things have changed a lot up there, mate.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's come a long way from back in the day when it was just, like you said, like striker versus wrestler, or boxer versus wrestler, boxer versus jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. It's not really like that anymore. Everyone's good at everything, so just
is there a lot of gyms up that way now, man? Like apart from Central Coast MMA, are there other gyms in that area that are pushing good fighters out?
Where we're from, there's a few different like self disciplines. Like there's plenty of good boxing gyms on the coast. Jiu-jitsu gyms. We're sort of the main mixed martial arts gym here. Before me, like there's a few fighters from a few different gyms that will mix it up and get in there. Before Central Coast MMA came, like I was with Noel Magnus, Magnus Martial Arts.
Yep. Is that in Erina?
Coach. And yeah, there's not too much, definitely not as much as like Sydney and stuff, but it's getting there.
Yeah. And when, like just what I mentioned before, when you're out in the, like example, you go to Terrigal Beer Garden, whatever, is there chances now of people having blues with pretty experienced martial artists like MMA fighters and whatnot? Does this happen sometimes up there these days?
Oh man, I think there's always that chance, eh? Like,
yeah.
I think there was that chance since the beginning of martial arts, because you pick I don't know, you see guys pick a fight with like an average looking guy on the street. You don't know what he's capable of, you know. Like he could be nothing, or he could just be a average looking guy that's been training like Muay Thai for 20 years, you know what I mean? Like, so that's just the way it is, and that's the risk you run when you're trying to pick a fight with someone on the street. You don't know what they're capable of.
Yeah, out of interest, have you had any issues at all yourself where anyone's had a go at you anywhere or anything like that?
Nah, man. Nah, I've never had any issues. Like everyone from the coast has always been really supportive of me. Like the only thing I've got from people when I'm out that recognise me is like, good on you, mate, and doing the coast proud. So it's good.
That's great to hear. So you're one of the kind of new generation of MMA fighters. Back in the day, people would, like you said, they just train a single discipline. But you started with MMA when you were young. You mentioned around 14 years old when you started. How was that as a young fellow going straight into MMA?
Yeah, I think it was good, because it's a different art in itself, I believe. Like, you've got all your single disciplines that you should be training singularly and honing in on singularly, but then when you mix it all together, I think every discipline changes a little bit. That like where some things that might work better in, say, straight wrestling won't work as good in mixed martial arts, because you've got other factors, right? Like you've got striking where you might not be striking in wrestling. So there's just all these little things that change it when you go into mixed martial arts. So yeah, going back to what you were saying, I think it was like an advantage to start straight away in everything, not just starting as from one discipline, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned, if you're training for a wrestling competition, the goals are so much different than training wrestling for MMA and likewise for all the other arts. There, 100% correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
way different.
And the other thing, I've been out of the country for a while, man, so I'm a bit out of touch with what's happening. But looking into your background, I didn't even realize that Ross Pearson is on the coast. That's fucking amazing, man. So can you talk on training with Ross, how that is?
Yeah, it's been unreal, man. Like, I never trained with anyone other than Noah Magnus, Jason Siebert, and then like affiliates of them. And then when Ross Pearson came to the Central Coast, he started up Central Coast MMA. Me and Ross had trained with each other like a few times, like on and off. And that at that stage when I was training with him on and off, he was like top 5 in the world, like top 5 contender for the lightweight UFC title. So it's unreal, man. You can't buy that experience, you know, that experience of being under the bright lights and knowing how it works. It really helps me, and the training is just he's a lifetime of martial arts knowledge right there.
True. And apart from the knowledge, obviously very strong in that area, is he also hands-on? He gets in there and actually trains physically with you guys as well?
Yeah. No, I just done rounds with him this morning. Yeah, we're training every day.
That's amazing. And then, so you're still fighting under, is it lightweight division right now?
Yep, lightweight.
Yeah. So you chose an easy division to be in, mate. It's a very difficult division, right? The lightweight.
Yeah, mate. It's great division. It's just no easy fights, but I think it's like that in every division, eh? Like,
yeah.
I understand lightweight's got like a lot of like high level guys, but I think every division does, and it's it's much the same.
True. Looking into your background too, I saw that you'd fought a few pretty amazing fighters in your time. One of the ones that I already know is Martin Nguyen. I knew him from over here. He's come over and fought over this way. I'm in China, and he's fought over here. Met him and his team, Fari, his old team, Fari, Selevsky, and their guys, really nice guys. And he's a pretty amazing fighter. I noticed he's got great reflexes and great natural athleticism. How did you find him, and how was that fight? I know it was amateurs, but he's still going to have the same sort of attributes, right?
Yeah. No, he it taught me a lot fighting Martin. It was the toughest fight I'd had in my amateur career, and because that was literally my last amateur fight before I turned pro. And yeah, man, he's improved like leaps and bounds since then. I got a little bit of training in with him. I think it was the camp before my last camp. And yeah, it's good to see him doing good things over at One.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Those couple of knockouts that Murat Garov is his name, where he overhand knocked him out, and after losing to him in a previous match, and then another right hand to ice the other guys. There was a double champion for a while there. Very good.
Yeah.
And also having fought the current champion, Alex Volkanovski. I know the fight obviously didn't go so well for you, but obviously I learn from these losses sometimes. But since then, you've been training with him on and off. Can you talk about that? Like, how's the training with Alex and any of his team?
Yeah, it's going really good. Like me and Alex were always like mutual. Like we sort of always like sort of stayed like friendly and all that. Like when we seen each other, and then when I got the opportunity to go down and train there, I sort of jumped at it, and I've done sort of 2 camps with him now, and it's really good. Like you can't like buy that sort of knowledge. Like similar to Ross, like I go down there to better myself, but then to learn and grow in all those ways. So it's been absolutely like amazing going down and training with Volk and the whole freestyle gym. They've got a real good mentality, good vibes down there. They're always taking the banner, like similar to our gym. So it's good.
Yeah. That's a good thing. Keep it lighthearted. And on that, just hypothetically, how do you think you'd go in a rematch?
A long one. Volk's is a different beast, man. He really is, and it's good to they're the kind of rounds that you want as a guy that's only just getting into the UFC. I want to be tested, challenged, beat up in the gym, and going down and training with Volk. Like he beats everyone up, So it's really good. It's how you get better.
And in saying so, you can watch Volkanovski fight, etc. But there's nothing like actually being face to face with the guy. So you've been in the gym with him, training with him. What are those key sort of feelings from him that make him stand out?
I would probably say it's a mix of everything. I think it's his physical. He's a very physical fighter. He puts a lot of pressure. He's got a big gas tank, as everyone knows. And that's how he's beat a couple of those like top level guys. He's beat them just from that constant pressure and pace that he puts on people, where you just kind of it just smothers you and you can't get away. And that's kind of his style. He puts that in alongside with all of his technique and his physical attributes, and that's how he really like sort of runs people down,
Yeah. And then looking at your more recent fights, watching your fight with Brad Riddell, that was a very grueling fight for both of you. Can you talk about the fight and what it takes for you to keep going in that sort of situation? I mean, both of you were taking a lot of punishment, probably pushed to the maximum point your body can take. How do you keep going through that sort of fight?
Yeah, man, it was a real good test for me and eye opener for me, because I've been in hard fights, but never one where it was like that. It was really crazy, like that third round was like running off fumes, and you sort of don't know. You always think like, like I'd have that war in me, I'd have that fire in me, but you don't really know until you are actually there in that point. And it was just literally running off instinct. When you believe in your training as well, you train hard, and so that when it gets to those times in the fight, you really can dig deep, and that's where your training and your preparation comes into it.
Yep. And how do you feel about that sort of fight? Is that something that you kind of seek to have, those grueling type of affairs that you drive and grind, or would you prefer to be, avoiding that sort of punishment in a fight?
Yeah, I think the smart, like I'm thinking longevity now, and I don't want to be in those all the time. But with saying that, I know I can, and I'm like, I welcome it if it comes. So, ideally, I want to stay away from them, and I want to like get in and get out, have a clean technical performance. You don't want every one of your fights to be a war. But yeah, it's good to know that I can, and I'm ready to.
Just saying, for your first fight, you said you felt like you didn't want to go out there, you wanted to run away. How did you overcome those fears? Do you still have a fear of going out there, and how do you mentally prepare for a fight, especially now you're under the big lights of the UFC?
Yeah, I think it's an experience thing, like that. Even my second fight towards my first fight was like, I had a lot more confidence, and not like it's about doing it. That's my take on it. It's about doing it, and the more and more you do it, the more comfortable you become with it. But yeah, that first fight feel, you can never get rid of those kind of jitters. It's completely normal. It's completely normal to be completely afraid, because that's when you know that you switched on. What do you say about your Gossy leagues on?
I was saying,
cut out just as you said that.
I was just saying when I think I'm a stand-up fighter. We had my third fight was in Gossie Leagues, looking out the window over the park there, just saying to myself, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because you're going out in front of your mates. Back then, it was only small shows, like 1,000 people, but there wasn't much else around at that time. So yeah, just I had the same feeling. You reminded me of it when I heard you in that interview.
Yeah, no, it is. I reckon everyone in their first fight has that feeling, because it's not a comfortable thing to be doing. It's not a comfortable thing to be walking out in front of a lot of people and fighting someone that you don't even know. You know nothing about them. So it's
other than their training to kill you as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that's where like just doing it more and more just gives you more. I don't know, like more comfortable with it.
Yeah. And on that, what you're just mentioning, so you're putting yourself in that uncomfortable position, and that's important for some people for their growth, right, in life, really. And so you're going out there, getting in the ring, like you said, you're self-accountable. There's no one else. So you're there by yourself in the ring. What is it that makes you do that? What makes you get in there, and like what are you thinking to be in such a type of sport, which is so demanding and very self-accountable?
I don't really know. I think I got into it just because I was interested in the sport, and I was watching Fuel TV back in the day, and watching the Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter 7, you said, right? Back with Amy Sadala. You said Ultimate Fighter 7 with Amy Sadala, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my like little first introduction to the sport. And yeah, like I think that those sort of things that you're going into with that, like that's why you should be getting into the sport, that like because you're interested in it. And I just had that interest straight away.
Yeah, that's awesome. And on your career movements and everything, I mean, for me, being a guy who's grown up on the coast, if I was competing, etc., doing well, and then I get a call to fight in the UFC, this would be a massive thing. Can you talk about how that felt to be called up by pretty much the premier MMA organization in the world?
Yeah, man, it was like amazing. I still remember it. I was on the job site, and Ross called me up and said, like, you're fighting in 3 weeks, fighting in Melbourne on that Israel Adesanya and Rob Whittaker. It was like a little bit emotional because it's like what you've really worked for. It's not even saying that you've made it, because you haven't made it at all. It's just the opportunity to really make something happen. So
true.
Pretty overwhelming, to be honest, but
I think you might have covered the mic a little bit, man. It's a little bit hard to hear there.
Yeah. Do you want me to say that again?
That's good now. It's good now. Yeah. So in your training, you're training obviously so many different disciplines, but you are mixing them together. What do you prefer yourself? Like, what's your favorite discipline amongst the many? Muay Thai, boxing, wrestling, BJJ, etc., or it's kind of mixed?
I seriously don't think I have a favorite. My favorite way to win is by knockout. I don't think there's a better feeling than knocking a man like from his feet to the canvas and finishing a fight like that. But I love every aspect of mixed martial arts so much. The wrestling, the jiu-jitsu, striking, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. It's just all like really, really fascinating to me.
Yep, awesome. And you mentioned about your recovery. You dropped off. You mentioned about your recovery, that you like to relax, rest your mind. You have some of the cryo, is it? And beach and swim and nutrition, etc. Do you do anything like do you also place importance on rest, like as far as sleep goes? And just wondering, you use sauna or anything like that?
Yeah. Like I've found since training full time, sleep. I try to get a sleep in a day if I can. If I don't, it's no big deal, but I always feel better for my second session when I've had a little bit of a rest. Even if I'm just lying down and shut my eyes, even if I don't fall into a deep sleep, you do feel better. But sleep's like so important. And I do, sauna as well. Sauna just when I'm getting tight, loosen the body up, just all those little like factors that are like these small differences, but they make the big difference in the end.
Yeah, in the long term too, right? How many hours do you sleep a night normally?
What's that, sorry?
How many hours do you sleep a night out of interest?
I'm not the best night sleeper, but then I make up for it with a day sleep. So I'll sleep like 7 hours a night.
Yeah, I think that's good anyway.
You think that's good?
Yeah, seven's a minimum according to some of the experts anyway. 7 hours is a good rest, but then if you're catching some kips is also good, right?
Yeah. If I can get like 6 to 7 a night, and then if I can get like a half hour or an hour of sleep during the day, that's like money for me.
Cool. And you also mentioned like sometimes in your downtime or in between camps, etc., you spend a bit of time on the beach with your dog, etc. Being on the coast, are the beaches part of your life much or not really?
Yeah, 100%. I love going down to the beach. Like I'm not a strong surfer or swimmer or anything, but I think it's just therapeutic, like going down, listening to the ocean. It's honestly my favorite thing to do. Take my dog down to the beach, get in the water, just really like take a moment. It's good.
Yeah, very beautiful part of the world. It's what I miss the most about the place being over here in China. There's no beaches like that, nothing even close.
Yeah.
So just talking about any injuries and things like that you've suffered that you have to handle. You mentioned about a bulged disc in your neck before. Any other sort of injuries that you're coping with these days, or everything's good?
Everything's good. And I've had like multiple little things here and there. The neck was the biggest one for me, and had a couple of other little ones along the way. Separated AC, torn my medial ligament in my knee, torn a sheath in my ankle. Just little things that happen along the way, but that's as far as it's gone with injuries. Touch wood.
And it was just popped into my head. It was great seeing the clip. I think you posted it. Was you're practicing on the pads of a fake right hand left hook, and then you landed a beautiful fake right hand left hook on Worthy. That was a beautiful day for you, mate.
Yeah. No, those I was just like on the plane ride home. I was flicking through some of my videos, and my teammate Drew was filming me on one of my last pad sessions, and he sent me the videos. I never looked at them, but I was looking at them just on the plane ride home, and just saw the exact like little setup that got me the win. So yeah, no, it was cool.
Beautiful. It's like Masvidal practicing that knee, right, and then landing the knee on Askren. Yeah. Amazing. So only a couple more things I just wanted to talk about. You mentioned your dad's from Ireland, Sligo, Ireland. What do you think of Conor and his influence on the sport, just out of interest?
Conor's like, I think he's brought this. He's done so much for the sport, to bring the sport to light, to make it more mainstream. Definitely more people know about the UFC and mixed martial arts as a sport because of Conor McGregor. So I think he's had good impacts, and I think he's had bad impacts. The main thing I think a lot of like youngsters looking up to Conor McGregor, it gave a fair few, especially when Conor was really hot. I think it gave a fair few youngsters like a false sense of like what you should try to be, because everyone started trying to be a brash, smart mouth, like funny guy, and like it's okay for Conor to do that because Conor's actually funny. He can actually do that, and I believe if you've got the gift of the gab, then use it. But if you don't try to be like a funny, smart, like disrespectful, like guy, because that's not what mixed martial arts is about. I believe. So yeah, good and bad things, but all in all, I like Conor McGregor. I hope he gets back up and gets a win under the belt.
Yeah, so I like him too, man. He brings a bit of entertainment to the sport. I mean, of course, there's always positives and negatives, but he makes you want to watch, which is pretty important, and it also helps you guys on the undercards. What do you think about the Conor Poirier 3? What's your pick there?
I don't know. I think with both guys making the adjustments, I think this third fight's going to be a cracker. I want Conor to win, so I'm going to say Conor will have made the right adjustments, the correct adjustments, and going into this third fight, it's gonna. I think it's gonna come down to who wants it more. Like both guys are so evenly matched, so different skill sets, but I think I'll have to go with Conor for the third match.
Do you think there's a chance he'll use that range again? Because he seemed to drop the range, right? He normally starts with that kick range and then kind of takes advantage when he can. But this time he just went straight into the boxing range and got his legs taken out, right?
Yeah, that could be a factor that he's going to bring into this next one. And I think he needs to stop the wrestle. I think he needs to, because Dustin kind of leaned on him, held him on the fence, wrestled him, and got him kind of tired, and then capitalized on that. So there's a few different things that he's going to have to do different, and I'm sure he's made the adjustments. And same with Poirier, I'm sure he's made adjustments, so it should make for a pretty good fight.
That's it, man. And one, I only got a couple more things. Just in your last fight, I was a bit worried because I saw you come out to the ring and I seen you lost the mullet. I was a bit worried that you might have lost your power, mate. So when are you going to bring back the mullet? It worries me, mate. I want that full power, you know?
I don't know. It's I feel faster without the mullet. I feel tougher with the mullet, but faster without it. So I'm going to have to find a happy medium, I think.
Maybe a rat's tail or something, bro.
Yeah.
In between. Yeah, man. All right. That's all the questions I have, man. But did you want to mention sponsors or gym, etc. before we head off?
Yeah, I'd love to give a quick shout out to all my sponsors. I'm probably going to forget some now, but I've got Dependable Fire Services, Coastal Excavation and Plumbing. I've got Cryo Plus, Engaged, and B&L Landscapes. So thank you very much to all those guys. Thanks to my gym, Cindercrest MMA. And everyone out there following my journey, thank you, and thanks for having us on the show.
Cool. If they want to catch you, have you got a handle for your Instagram or Facebook, etc.?
Yeah, it's just my name on Instagram, James Mullarkey. All my stuff's pretty much on there, my upcoming fights and everything, and yeah, that's where you'll sort of see most of my movements. Great,
that's perfect. All right, man. Thank you very much for your time, and yeah, and I hope I can catch up with you in the future, maybe after one of your fights, and see how you're going.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Let's do it.
Cool. All right. Thanks, man.